In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I built a six-figure portfolio completely from scratch as a Canadian investor using Wealthsimple Trade. And since this channel is focused on beginners and beginners getting started with investing, and I'm actually a beginner myself, we're going to be explaining everything throughout this video in a very basic and fundamental understanding. So if you guys are just getting started or you've only been investing for a couple years, this is going to make total sense for you. In fact, I started investing in 2019, so it only took me a couple years to build my six-figure portfolio, and I'm going to be showing you guys a couple tips inside this video on how you guys can do the same. So the first thing we'll cover really quickly is I'll go over a quick little portfolio overview so you guys can actually see my six-figure portfolio here on Wealthsimple Trade, and you guys know everything is legit. So here's my account. We'll bring it up on the screen here. So we have $118,000 that I actually have total for my portfolio, and this is over the course of about 4 years or so. This is all my accounts on Wealthsimple Trade, so this is my total return, and the portfolio is up 31.61% at the time of doing this video. That's $28,000, almost $30,000 in total gains inside all my accounts on Wealthsimple Trade. And if you guys stay until the end of the video, I'll do a deep dive inside my portfolio and show you guys actually all the stocks I hold, but you guys gotta watch until the end of the video. So the next part of the video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips and some tricks that I think are the most important things to do when it comes to investing in the stock market, and if you guys want to build a six-figure portfolio. In fact, these are the big things that I did, and these are the things that really got me the results I got at the end of the day. So to get you guys fired up and excited throughout this video, I'm going to share with you guys my story. So when I first started investing, I worked at a grocery store and I made minimum wage, and what got me basically drove me to look into the stock market and build a portfolio was I wanted to get off that hamster wheel. I was having a hard time, guys. I had enough. I was struggling. Life was hard and I needed to change. So this is where I got into the stock market, and I wanted to tell you guys the story because I want to show you guys that anybody can do this. It doesn't matter who you are. So it doesn't matter, if you guys are a beginner, you're just getting started, everybody can succeed. I'm pretty basic here. As you guys know, I'm very basic on this channel. I'm very beginner friendly, and if I can do it, anybody can. So the first thing you really want to do is hammer down what type of investing style you really want to do. I know as a beginner it can be a little bit confusing because there's a lot of different styles out there. There's growth-based investing, there's dividend investing, there's dividend growth, kind of a mixture of the two. And then of course there's like passive income funds, like the big high yield fund, which is a legit type of investing as well. So in the beginning it can be very overwhelming, and one of the things I found, it was very overwhelming for me too. So I would say have a nice sit down, get a piece of paper, visualize what your life want to be, and focus on that. Now, if you're looking to build a six-figure portfolio as quickly as possible, my advice for most people would be go with some type of growth-based portfolio, or the growth/dividend-based portfolio. And the easiest way for beginners to do this is to look at a robo-advisor. And this is what I did for my first year of investing. I kept things simple. I used a robo-advisor. If you guys are more the do-it-yourself investing type, you can look at ETFs or different funds. But if you are getting started, I would highly recommend starting with a robo-advisor, and then as you learn the ropes and you get better, you can move on to do-it-yourself investing if that is something that is right for you. And the reason why I went with a robo-advisor is because I wanted to keep things simple. And this is going to kind of go into my next tip, which is do actionable steps. As a beginner, when you're first getting started with the stock market, it's very confusing. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of confusion. It's hard to stay consistent. There's a lot of questions you might have, like, oh, what do I do when the market drops? What do I do when the market's at an all-time high? When do I buy or sell a stock? These are questions as a beginner you're going to have. So if you can kind of get rid of that stuff and just make it as simple and easy as possible for you to focus on one goal, and that one goal is going to be putting money into the market, you're going to have success. In fact, the biggest factor that's going to get you to building a six-figure dividend portfolio as fast as possible, and the number one thing that's going to determine your success, assuming you're investing to good quality stocks, is going to be how much money you are putting into the market. So one of the big things I did is I focused on putting as much money as I possibly could inside of my stock portfolio. Once I set up the robo-advisor, it was like, okay, every single time I have free cash, I have to click that button and put it in. I made it as simple as possible for me to succeed in the stock market. And if we head on over to Wealthsimple Trade and I show you guys my account, you guys can see here that here are my deposits. And basically what I would do is I'd write on a piece of paper a daily to-do list to remind myself, which is very important, to put any free cash I had into the stock market. Sometimes this would be $5, $10, sometimes it'd be $50. If I had ever had a nice paycheck or I got some extra money from somewhere, I would put that money into the stock market, and I really had to be frugal and cut expenses. And again, I really want to hammer this down. The biggest factor that's going to give you the best success and build your portfolio as quickly as possible is going to be putting as much money as you can, saving as much money, cutting as many expenses as you can, being frugal as possible, and putting that money into the stock market. So before we go any further, I just want to do a quick introductory to our kitty cat called Cooper. So Cooper is the one who's usually in these videos. You guys might see him running around. He's usually the one who has to hear me listen to myself, talk to myself when I do these videos. But anyways, I just want to give you guys a quick little introductory in case you guys haven't already met him. If you guys are a cat owner yourself, or you guys like cats or pets in general, let me know in the comment section of this video. So the next tip I'm going to be giving you guys, which is once again going to be focusing on kind of streamlining things, keeping things simple, and giving you guys the easiest path to success by, eliminating all those extra variables and giving you guys just clear actionable steps, is to pick an account to invest into. I know as Canadians it's a little bit tricky because there's a lot of different accounts out there. There's ones like the TFSA, the RRSP, and there's not a lot of education in our system to really help us help you guys know what this stuff is. Like when I first started, I had no idea what a TFSA was. I thought it was a savings account with a bank where you could get like a crappy interest rate. I had no idea that you can invest inside a TFSA. I had no idea what an RRSP is or any of that stuff. So if you guys want to keep it, very beginner friendly and get started as quickly as possible, I would recommend you start with the TFSA. I went with the TFSA myself because, I didn't start investing until I was like 27, 28 years old. So I had a lot of contribution room piled up. And because the TFSA is tax free, it made a lot of sense for me. So I went with the TFSA, and I'd recommend if you are getting started, pick the TFSA, pick a goal. Like maybe I'm going to max out my TFSA, and there you go. You got your goal. You know what you guys have to do, and then you can work on maxing that. And, it's going to take you a long time to get there most likely. Once you max out the TFSA, you can move on to the RSP, and it's the same thing. Max out those contributions, keep your goals simple so you guys can work on them and you guys can see success as you put more money into the market. And my last tip for you guys is going to be focus on your contributions. Focus on some type of metric that makes you feel good about what you're doing. It's very easy to focus on some of the things that don't matter. Focus on your portfolio value. Like, of course, over time you want to see your portfolio grow. When I showed you guys my portfolio, you guys seen it was up 30%. I had a lot of stock growth. Everything was in the green. It looked nice. But that's something that comes over time. It doesn't happen right away. And there's something when it comes to investing in the stock market, you have to experience things. You have to experience the up and downs, and it takes time. You might start investing right away and your portfolio goes in the green and you see good, but guess what, guys, you're going to go in the red eventually. And it's not until you've been investing for a couple years where you see your portfolio consistently grow, and even then you're still going to have a lot of ups and downs. So if you're focusing on your total value, sometimes you can get sidetracked. You can get caught up with the markets if things are crashing, if the media is talking about things, if you have stocks that are kind of going up and down. It can kind of distract you from what your number one important goal is, to put money into the market. So my recommendation is to find something that you can kind of quantify that feels like you're progressing. It's like going to the gym and working out. You count the number of push-ups you can do, and every single time, every single week you go back to the gym, if you can do slightly more push-ups than the time before, you've seen progress. So like I said, you guys could focus on the contribution room, how much you're adding inside your portfolio, how much your deposits are accumulating over time. That's a great way to do it. One thing that dividend investors like to do, such as myself, is to track your monthly dividends. I think this is a great way to do it. You guys can see the dividends grow over time. They're very predictable. You can see the success, right? You can see the money growing. And here's my account. I had a spreadsheet where I tracked down the dividends I had, and every single time, every single month, I could see my success. I could see my results. Yes, it took a long time. Yes, it was slow. It took hard work, but you can see the results. So when you're having a bad day, you can always reflect back here. You can see the growth. We can see the success, and it feels really good. And again, the whole idea here is to get away from the emotional side of things and tying that feel good, that success, that reward to action, to doing things, to putting in effort, to doing work, and you're always going to feel good, and that's going to drive you to actually do the work. And if you guys do the work, you'll get the result. But the biggest reason why a lot of people fail is because they get confused, they get sidetracked, they kind of self-doubt things, they second guess things, and then because of that, they don't put in the work. And if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get the result. So if I was to summarize all those things, I basically say stay consistent, have a nice clear path, focus on something simple to get you started, and work on those actionable plans of putting money in the market on a regular basis. If you guys can do that, I promise you, you guys will succeed. And that's exactly what I did. I kept things simple. I know it doesn't sound sexy. I know it's boring. It's not like those other videos where you see people talk about penny stocks or buying meme stocks or buying these small cap stocks and then hitting it big. Sure, that can happen, but the vast majority of people, it doesn't work that way. You have to put in hard work. That's how you get success. So if you want to build a dividend portfolio, or a six-figure stock portfolio, I should say, just focus on putting in the work. That's what I did. I kept it simple. I worked hard. Like, it took me a lot of effort to get there, but I'm just going to show you guys, like, anybody can do this stuff. So at this point in the video, we're going to kind of finish up here. I'm going to be giving you guys a quick little portfolio reveal. So let's jump inside the portfolio and I'll show you guys all the stocks I actually have. So here's the part of the video I know everybody's going to enjoy. You guys are going to actually see my stock portfolio in the stocks I actually hold. And I think this is an important part of things. You know, it's easy to tell people what to do, but as a teacher and as if you guys are watching this or you're learning, one of the best things to understand something is to see it in action, right? To see the results, to see the advice actually working. So I give you guys advice on this channel. I make it, dumb it down so it's very beginner friendly, and then I show you guys how it works in motion here. Here's what I've done, and here's my portfolio, and here's the result I've gotten here. So here's my portfolio. We have $117,000 in total. Obviously, the markets are going up and down today, so it's obviously might be a little bit less than earlier in the video. That's just the way it is. But here's the different accounts here. So you have 3 different accounts. We have the TFSA, which is the biggest account. We have the RSP, and then a non-registered account here. So the TFSA, the biggest account, we're going to cover this one because it makes the most sense, right? Like all time, the account is up 16% inside the TFSA, so that's $15,000. I did have some other accounts that I no longer have on Wealthsimple, so I closed those accounts, but I did have quite a bit of a gain. So if you look at the TFSA and it looks like smaller, I actually originally had 2 TFSAs, and about I would say August of 2021 I combined them together. So that's why you're not seeing the growth from the other one, but it is factored in here. It's factored in at the start of the video where I showed you guys that plus 30% return. That old TFSA is factored in there, so that is covered in there. And the stocks I hold inside my portfolio are very basic stocks. I really focus on the fundamentals, which is ETF. So let's scroll down here to the bottom because these are the biggest things. We have $57,000, about 50% of all my holdings, about my portfolio in VFE. That's the Vanguard S&P 500. Very basic, very simple, high growth fund. Can't go wrong with it. VDY, the second one, is going to be the Canadian FTSE Canadian High Dividend Yield Index. Holds a lot of conservative dividend growth companies. Very simple ETF you guys can get started with if you want. And that's the 2 biggest funds I have. Honestly, guys, that's the key to my success. I bought ETFs. I made it simple for me to succeed, and I just focused on putting money in, reinvesting those dividends, and that's what worked for me. Now, on this channel, I do buy some individual stocks. I do play around with stocks here and there. But again, you know, very conservative stocks, TD, TELUS. We do have some covered call ETFs I messed up with. I messed around with, sorry, I didn't mess up with. I messed around with, and I'm still finding value from them, but they're small holdings, and a lot of these changes that come from the portfolio, like the cover call ETFs, some of the individual stocks, and then the dividend growth fund that I'm currently building in my RSP, this is me just having fun. This is me trying new things. This is me kind of customizing things, and as your portfolio grows and your portfolio gets bigger, you have the liberty of doing that because you have the flexibility, right? You have the extra cash. But if you really want to make things simple and you really want to grow your portfolio as quickly as possible, you want to hit that 6 figures, you want to get there because it's such a monumental goal, then focus on something simple like the S&P 500. Focus on dividend growth stocks like ETFs or something like that. Put your money in, focus on that, and then once your portfolio gets bigger, you can customize and adjust things to suit your needs, and that would be my best advice. But again, this is such a beginner-friendly portfolio, just simple stuff. So hopefully you guys got some value from that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully me showing you guys my portfolio and the fact that I just hold simple, basic stocks. There's no secrets here, guys. It's just simple stuff. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. I know it was a bit of a long video, but I really wanted to hammer down some of these things, and I really wanted to like help you guys out. I know as a beginner, it can be pretty frustrating. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of confusion, you know, and if you haven't experienced these things before, you might not know how, you know, what's normal, what it's normal to feel like. Is it normal to feel these feelings and stuff like that? And I'm here to tell you guys it is completely normal. You know, I've experienced them myself, like the self-doubt, the confusion, the not knowing how to stay on path. You know, all these things happen, you know, not staying focused. Like, it's completely normal, guys. But the big thing you have to try to focus on is keeping things simple, you know, trying to make those actionable steps, have those daily to-do lists of putting money in the market, focus on one type of investing, and just put in your work, put in your money, try to save up that money and put as much as you can and focus on growing, you know, growth mindset. You guys are going to have success, and that's legitimately how I did this whole thing. Again, not sexy, no flashy thing or anything like that. It's just good old-fashioned hard work and practicing basic fundamentals that have proven to succeed. So if you guys like this video, please let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more content. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys later.